Magnitude 6.2 earthquake jolts parts of Visayas area. Rescuers race to find quake survivors as the official death toll from a collapsed supermarket in Porac, Pampnga rises to 5. The local government of San Marcelino, Zambales vows to extend assistance to hundreds of residents affected by the 6.1 magnitude earthquake. PHIVOLCS still probing if the 6.1 magnitude quake that hit Zambales originated from an active fault line. And UNTV news anchors and personnel experienced Monday's earthquake during a live broadcast. Good evening. Authorities record 5 deaths as a supermarket in Porac, Pampnga collapsed after a 6.1 magnitude earthquake hit the province on Monday. John Nano tells us why.
As authorities continue the search and rescue operations amidst the rubbles of the collapsed Luzon supermarket in Porac, Pampnga, Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG Secretary Eduardo Año confirmed 5 deaths have been recorded so far due to the incident. 9 persons were injured and are now being treated in a hospital, while a Luzon supermarket employee remains missing. Secretary Año explains that as he spoke with the rescuers earlier, they said it seems that there are still 2 possible survivors underneath the establishment based on their surveillance and response of canine dogs. With the use of crane and various equipment, the rescuers lift the debris to look for other bodies that might be under the building. Meanwhile, Department of Public Works and Highway Secretary Mark Villar made inspection in the area and got some forensic samples as they are set to conduct an investigation to identify if the materials used in the establishment were substandard or not.
Magko-conduct muna kami ng forensic analysis ng building. So as of at this point, nako-collect muna kami ng samples.
On the other hand, the DILG Secretary Año also ordered the local government unit of Porac as well as other LGUs in Central Luzon to suspend the business permit of other branches of Luzon supermarket. Año explains that all of the establishment of Luzon should be examined its structural integrity.
Titingnan natin yung factual basis, titingnan natin doon yung sa plano ng kanyang structure. Hindi ito confirm pero ang sabi, ito daw ay dating 2-story lang. At in-extend to 4th floor, tingnan natin kung nasunod ba yung structural design niya. No? I-suspend muna yung business permit nitong mga Luzon supermarket hanggang sa ma-verify natin na ito ay compliant sa building code.
This afternoon, President Rodrigo Duterte personally went to Porac, Pampnga to see the aftermath of the earthquake. John Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Porac, Pampnga.
The provincial board has placed the 2nd district of Pampnga under a state of calamity following the 6.1 magnitude earthquake on Monday. The province's 2nd district covers towns of Porac, Florida Blanca, Guagua, Sasmuan, Lubao, and Santa Rita. According to the statement of Vice Governor Dennis Pineda, presiding officer of the provincial board, declaring a state of calamity in the area will help in rebuilding the community after the strong earthquake. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology has yet to find out the epicenter of the earthquake yesterday in several parts of Luzon. Ray Pelayo explains why.
The red lines on the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or PHIVOLCS map indicates active fault lines which may cause earthquakes in the Philippines. But the agency has not found the epicenter of the 6.1 magnitude quake in Castillejos, Zambales that happened yesterday. And this is what PHIVOLCS would like to find out.
Dalawang fault system na tinitignan po namin is yung Iba Fault at yung East Zambales Fault.
Intensity 6 was felt in San Marcelino and Subic, Zambales, Florida Blanca, Lubao, and Porac and Angeles City in Pampnga, and Olongapo City. Intensity 5 was felt in Castillejos and San Felipe in Zambales, Magalang, Mexico and San Fernando in Pampnga, Abucay, Balanga and Maribeles in Bataan, Malolos and Obando in Bulacan, Indang Cavite, Lipa City, Makati City, Mandaluyong City, Manila City, Quezon City, Pasay City, San Juan City, Taguig City, Tarlac City, and Valenzuela City. Intensity 4, 3, and 2 were also felt in other parts of northern and central Luzon, including some areas in Metro Manila. The quake was only 10 kilometers in depth. That is why the shaking and intensities were felt even in nearby provinces like Pampanga. PHIVOLCS Senior Science Research Specialist Melchor Lasala said the location and formation of the province's land area have to be considered in assessing structural damages.
Mababaw lang po siya at pangalawa po kaya nagkaroon po ng damages dito sa Pampanga. Bukod po siya malapit siya sa epicentro ng lindol, malambot po yung area na yan. Alluvial area po yung Pampanga. Kaya po mas malakas po ang shaking na mararamdaman.
Meanwhile, the Zambales quake did not affect the West Valley Fault, which is estimated to have the capacity to generate a magnitude 7.2 quake.
Strikes din po, may dalawa po tayong snub ng fault. So yung left tsaka yung right. So sa behavior po niya is horizontal po yung movement ng dalawa. So nag-move po yung isa towards the other, pa ganun po. Yung isa papunta po sa kaliwa, yung isa papunta sa kanan.
Ray Pilayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The local government of San Marcelino, Zambales are taking measures to aid residents affected by Monday afternoon's earthquake. Grace Casin tells us why.
Yesterday, a 6.1 magnitude earthquake hit the province of Zambales. In Mount Tikis, Barangay Buhawen, San Marcelino, Zambales, a 6-year-old child identified as Warren Serrano died after a boulder fell on him during the quake, while a minor landslide occurred in Barangay Aglao. In Mount Tapuyong, more than 500 Aitas were able to return to their homes after spending Monday night in an evacuation center following the earthquake Monday afternoon. And in Porac 3, Barangay Burgos, residents noticed cracks on the bridge, and now they fear for the bridge's safety.
Ay, gusto namin, madam, maano yan, yung tabunan ulit para mapalitan yung yung nagbibiyak, matibag, baka biglang gumuho yan eh.
Nangangamba talaga. Siyempre, hindi tayo makakadaan dyan sa creek na yan, lalo pat pag malakas na ang malakas ng tubig, hindi tayo makakadaan.
Siyempre, dahil yung nga tulay nito, gagawang kung hindi bababa, masisira, tutumba, kaya yun lang kailangan mapalitan. Wala na, dito na lang sa tubig na naman dadaan. Kaya kailangan mapalitan na itong tulay to.
The San Marcelino local government said they are taking measures to aid residents, especially those who evacuated following yesterday's tremor. Authorities are now assessing the extent of the damages for them to take immediate action. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The operations of the 4 railways in Metro Manila are back to normal after yesterday's earthquake. Monoxon tells us why.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR assures the riding public that the railways in Metro Manila are fit to operate and are safe. This comes after the 4 railways underwent inspection of the tracks, power lines, and train stations. After the earthquake yesterday, all 4 railway systems announced the suspension of their operations to assure the safety of passengers. The Light Rail Transit or LRT Line 1 management suspended their operations at 5:30 in the afternoon to assess structural damages to the entire line. Inspections were made at the LRT Line 1's 20 stations and operations resumed at 5:30 in the morning today.
Actually, marami nagtanong kung bakit kailangan suspindihin. Pero priority pa rin namin talaga ang safety ng mga pasahero. Mas mabuti ang mag-ingat kaysa ilagay sa alanganin ang kaligtasan ng mga pasahero namin.
The LRT Line 2 also suspended their operations yesterday to ensure the safety of the entire line. The LRT Line 2 management said they saw small cracks in one of the buildings which are just superficial and not dangerous.
Yung mga nakitang cracks pero kung superficial naman, hindi sila kumbaga sa kwan parang mga sa palitada lang, iba naman doon sa parang sa wall lang siya, not really on the structure, hindi apektado yung integrity ng ating structure. Mga superficial lang yung mga nakitang sa. But I've said, continuing pa rin yung ating mga inspection.
The DOTR has released a statement saying the Metro Rail Transit or MRT Line 3 and the Philippine National Railways or PNR are also fit to operate. The DOTR clarified that the cracks found in LRT Line 2 recto station are not related to the earthquake yesterday and had been there before. Some passengers believe that the trains are safe to use after they were inspected by the DOTR.
Sasakay pa rin. Wala, siyempre pag sa bus kasi ma-traffic, ingat-ingat lang.
Wala kaming masakyan eh. No choice kami, sasakay talaga kami. Palagay ko safe. Kahapon nga nasa loob kami ng elevator ng Lumindol eh. Pero parang, aywan ko, si Lord ang nagpo-protect.
Safe ko safe pa rin. Kasi matibay yung structure ng mga railway natin. Saka, wala naman dapat ikatakot kasi parang may tiwala pa rin tayo sa building natin sa Philippines. Matibay naman.
After the structural and track inspection, the Railway Transit Managements will conduct regular check-up as part of the safety procedures of the stations. Meanwhile, the Clark International Airport Management had advised a 24-hour shutdown after the earthquake damaged some airport facilities. The airport management targets to resume normal operations tomorrow. The operations in Clark Airport are suspended today, while some flights were diverted to the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA. The Manila International Airport Authority or MIAA clarified that operations in NAIA are business as usual. The MIAA issued a statement after they confirmed there was no damage to the runway and taxiway at the airport after the earthquake on Monday. There was no downtime reported in NAIA facilities, but the inspection on the airport structures still continues. The MIAA warns airline companies not to take advantage of the recent event to delay or cancel their flights. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
The show must go on for UNTV News anchors and personnel even in the middle of an earthquake. Jun Soriao tells us why.
In an unexpected moment, two UNTV News anchors experienced presenting news live and in front of the camera amid an intensity 5 earthquake. This footage shows that in yesterday's episode of Ito Ang Balita, as Monica Veralio was presenting a news report, there was a sudden tremor. After a few seconds, we could feel as if we were being swayed where we were standing. I signaled the crew behind the cameras to stay calm because the newscast must go on. Monica had a hard time walking.
Sa totoo lang, nung unang beses ko naramdaman na may paggalaw, akala ko nahihilo ko. Until makita ko yung mga tao behind the camera, hinahawakan na yung mga ilaw, yung camera, dahil grabe talaga yung paggalaw.
UNTV employees applied the duck, cover, and hold positions as what we have been practiced in earthquake drills. The UNTV management told the employees to keep themselves safe and exit the building, except the news production personnel and technicians in performance of our duties to bring news in the name of public service. Jun Suriao, UNTV News and Rescue.
Employees of Luzon supermarket in Porac, Pampnga are thankful despite yesterday's earthquake. Meanwhile, some residents are in grief following the strong tremor. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Employees of Luzon supermarket in Porac, Pampnga could not believe they have survived after being trapped under a collapsed building yesterday following a powerful earthquake. One of the survivors is Marlo Palasige, a Luzon supermarket warehouse man. Marlo shared that because the tremor was so strong, the supermarket ceiling gave in and fell. He attempted to run out of the store but lost balance after tripping since the ground was rocking.
Biglaan lang siya, wala pang 3 segundo, bumagsak na yung building. Tapos yun, natrap kami sa sa may concrete. Nung lumindol, tumakbo kami palabas kasi malakas na. Hanggang sa naabutan kami doon sa may sa palabas. Doon kami natrap. At saka kung hindi ako nadapa, sir, diretso yung takbo ko, aabutan ako ng mga bato na malalaki. Yung pagdapa ko, mas nakakabuti. Kasi nung nadapa ko, doon na lang ako, tama-tama bumagsak yung building. Maswerte kasi nabuhay kami.
Olive Orsino and Jenny Garcia, who are both checkers, did not get the chance to run out of the supermarket. They were trapped in the middle of the fallen debris.
Kasi magkasama po kami ni Jenny. Nasabi namin na lang BBQ. Nagdasal po kami, sumisigaw po ako tapos kumakatok sa may yero. Tapos may hawak akong bato. Tulong, sabi. Maraming salamat po sa Panginoon at nakaligtas po kami.
3 other employees were rescued out of the debris at around 3 a.m. today.
Marami po kami nakatakbo sa likod, may 30 po kami. Kasi mga ibang tao sir, dito na rin lumabas, hindi nila akalain na ganyan mangyayari, babagsak ng building.
On the other hand, Jason de la Cruz is now in grief after his wife and 2 children died when falling debris hit them. Jason narrated his wife and children alighted their tricycle first. When he was parking their tricycle, he just saw the supermarket's building collapse.
Di pa nga sila nakapasok, sir. Mamimili lang sana kami. Di pa nga nakapasok, magpapark pa lang ako ng sakay pero nauna na sila. Paglingon ko, wala na, bumagsak na yung building. Paglingon ko ng ganun, wala na. Bumagsak na talaga. Ilan na lang kaming natira sa labas. Bigla. Segundo lang po.
Lalaine Arbis, who was about to buy food, is also grieving after losing a child.
Labas po kami ng bahay, tapos biglang lumindol. Bibili lang po kami ng pagkain. Kaso yung ko bumalik sa bahay, kaya natabunan ng pader.
Those who lost their loved ones following yesterday's earthquake call on the government for assistance. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The Emilio Aguinaldo College in Manila is undergoing evaluation and structural integrity inspection due to intensity 5 earthquake that hit some areas of Metro Manila late Monday afternoon. April Senadoza explains why.
Engineering officials continue to inspect the Emilio Aguinaldo College or EAC in Paco, Manila after the building sustained damages caused by the strong earthquake late Monday afternoon. EAC's 6th floor was damaged, while the debris fell between the EAC building and a UN Avenue residence. Classes in EAC were cancelled today to give way for the inspection. Intensity 5 was felt in Metro Manila. EAC student Madhumita Lugazantam shared that she felt their school was already shaking, so she immediately left the building.
The building was shaking during that time. Like I was staying in my room, so I came out soon when the building started to shake and we came on roads.
The Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH cordoned one lane of the UN Avenue to preclude any further impacts on the building, which may be caused by vehicles passing through the road. EAC President Dr. Jose Campos maintains a contingency plan was laid out to avoid interruption of classes.
We will shift the classes to those buildings. So there is a plan already, a contingency plan to continue with classes so that the students the effect on their education is minimized.
Based on the initial assessment of the engineers of EAC and the Manila City government, imminent danger in the building has yet to be observed. The engineers also didn't spot any cracks on the various building components.
The thing is, initial observation ko is the building is too close to each other. And yung mga tumama doon sa katabi is that hindi naman major structure yun.
On the other hand, DPWH Secretary Mark Villar in a statement said the safety officer of EAC has been informed not to utilize the building anymore and to ask occupants to vacate the building. Meanwhile, Manila City Mayor Joseph Estrada also instructed the City Engineering Office to inspect other public and private buildings within the city. April Senadoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
What are you going to do if you see cracks inside a building in the aftermath of a strong earthquake? Find out from this report from my Bermudez.
Earlier today, Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin inspected the Supreme Court premises personally. Inspections were also done today at the Department of Justice or DOJ office in Manila. Engineer George Peñalosa, the chief of DOJ Maintenance Division, said that for old buildings like that of the DOJ's, the first thing to be scrutinized are the columns.
Yung mga column, yung mga beam niya, important na mga structure ng buildings.
Engineer Peñalosa added that obvious damages must be prioritized.
Kalasan lang naman yung mga exterior lang, yung mga tinatawag nilang plastering. Yung parang pagka natapos mo na parang finish mo na lang yung surface ng yung wall.
Who would have thought that a magnitude 6.1 earthquake will hit the country on Monday? Several experts say this is not a reason for Filipinos to be unprepared. But what will you do if you notice the crack in a building or a house you are in after an earthquake? Here are several measures should be kept in mind and done in case of a tremor. First is to relax. Keep calm and expect that ground movements may continue. Check structure's alignment and plumbness. Call qualified inspectors immediately for assistance. Report or check if a building's structural integrity is dubious. The Manila City Engineering Office said the Emilio Aguinaldo College building is structurally sound.
Actually, pag may nakita kang slanting, yung mga windows niya, yung mga doors niya, medyo mahirap yan, no? All are inline pa rin. Naka-inline pa rin siya, maski yung mga elevators, may mga tunog na nawala siya sa inline. Wala kang makita.
But damage cannot only be seen through structural components. Damages can also be noticed on non-structural components, such as partition walls, window glasses, and ceiling. So it's important to call experts and have your houses or buildings checked for everyone's safety. May Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Philippine National Police Chief says they will conduct an investigation on the personalities included in a matrix the palace has publicized. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Malacanang yesterday released a matrix that links alias Bicoy and several journalists to an ouster plot against President Rodrigo Duterte. Alias Bicoy is a character in a series of videos uploaded on YouTube who alleges several personalities' role in illegal drug trade. Ellen Tordesillas of Verifiles, however, denied the allegations. She said that the accusation is funny but still raises concern. Rappler CEO Maria Ressa, on the other hand, said on a Twitter post that the accusers are running out of fiction. Based on Malacanang's matrix, 3 media organizations, including several journalists and a leftist group, are cooperating with alias Bicoy. Presidential spokesman Secretary Salvador Panelo reiterated the matrix has been validated and that the public have the right to know about the information and the planned destabilization of President Rodrigo Duterte's administration.
Hindi yan mag-instruct sa akin na i-release ko kung hindi niya na-validate. If there is a ouster plan, then people should know about it. People have the right to know what's happening in this government, and that includes people who want to destroy this government.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, is set to investigate and validate information on personalities included in the matrix Malacanang released. PNP Chief Police General Oscar Albayalde said that even without a direct order from President Duterte, it is part of their job to conduct such investigation.
What we do is we just like what we do sa mga nakukuha nating information, we conduct validation. We conduct validation so that anytime nahingan kami ng comment namin o ng information coming from us, we can give them information.
The PNP chief said it is important to ascertain whether the names on Malacanang's matrix have links to alias Bicoy. Police General Albayalde emphasized that if they have proved there is indeed a destabilization plot against the president, the PNP will not have second thoughts of filing charges against them.
Evidence so warrants, they can always be cases filed against them, no? Ang ano dito is always we go for evidence, no? We go for evidence, yung talagang substantial evidence that will stand in court.
Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Filipino community of Cyprus has called for justice for the killing of 2 Filipino women who vanished last year and were found dead in a mine shaft. Monokson will tell us why.
Cyprus authorities performed an intensive search on Monday, probing the actions of a possible serial killer after 2 women were found murdered and dumped in a mine shaft. The victims were discovered in the space of a week at an abandoned mine about 30 kilometers west of the capital, Nicosia. The first victim to be located has been identified as Mary Rose Tiburcio, a 39-year-old woman from the Philippines who disappeared in May 2018 along with her 6-year-old daughter. The second woman pulled up from the well last Saturday has been named as Arian Palanas Lozano, 28, also from the Philippines. Though she has not been officially identified yet, Lozano was reported missing on July 21, 2018 in Nicosia. Although Tiburcio's body was the first to be found, authorities believe there are 2 more bodies in the mine shaft. The victim's daughter has not been found, though searches are going on both at the mine and at a lake near Siliatos.
The area has been secured and no one is allowed to operate. However, with a tracking device and the robot, we performed a search at the west side of the pit that covers 1 meter, and we went all the way down to 130 meters.
A 35-year-old career officer with the Cypriot army is in custody on suspicion of killing all 3. In court hearings, police said the army officer was suspected of having approached the women on an online dating site. Police said they are reviewing the online footprints of other women on its list of missing persons to see if they had contact with the suspected killer. Meanwhile, the Filipino community of Cyprus have called for the just punishment of whoever killed the 2 women. Federation of Filipino Organizations of Cyprus, Esther Biat, said the Filipino community on the island are feeling very nervous, and people are urging each other on social media to be cautious and avoid meeting people they don't know. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach, the second event of the 2019 World Surf League Championship Tour, resumed on Monday when the waves returned after 3 days. Asher Kadapan Jr. will tell us why.
With waves reaching 1.2 to 1.5 meters at Winky Pop, the 2019 World Surf League Championship Tour's backup site next to Bells Beach, the remaining heats from rounds 1 and 2 were completed. 7 times World Surf League champion Stephanie Gilmer of Australia struggled with wave selection against compatriots Kobe Enright and Bronte Macaulay in round 1, but found her rhythm to post 2 solid scores for a total of 15.33 points. Gilmore will advance directly to the round of 16, where she will again face Enright. Also through to round 3 is American Coco Ho, who secured a commanding win over 3 times World Surf League champion Carissa Moore of the USA and former Rookie of the Year Kelly Andrew of Australia. Ho will next compete against Francis Johan Defay. Australia's Nikki Van Dyke defeated American Lakey Peterson and Paige Harev of New Zealand in round 1, scoring 12.66. Van Dyke progressed straight to the round of 16, where she will take on Courtney Conlog of the USA. Tatiana Weston Webb of Brazil also reached the 3rd round, scoring 14 in round 1 after beating Macy Callaghan of Australia and American Malia Manuel. In the men's competition, Japan's Kanoa Igarashi scored 10.46 in round 1 to advance to the round of 16, where he will beat up against Adrian Buchan. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
And to complete the most significant news for the day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. All 6 people on board a twin-engine plane died when it crashed on a private ranch near an airport in Caryville, Texas on Monday. The pilot of the Beechcraft BE-58 was preparing to land at Caryville Municipal Airport when the plane went down, according to federal aviation authorities. The National Transportation Safety Board said they will investigate the said crash. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says any nation interacting with Iran should do its diligence and err on the side of caution. Beverly Saison explains why.
The U.S. has announced it will no longer exempt countries from sanctions that aim to impose a complete oil embargo on Iran. Officials said the Trump administration would not renew any of the sanctions waivers granted to a handful of countries including China, India, Turkey, Japan, and South Korea when those waivers expire on May 2nd.
Today I'm announcing that we will no longer grant any exemptions. We're going to zero across the board. We will continue to enforce sanctions and monitor compliance. Any nation or entity interacting with Iran should do its diligence and err on the side of caution. The risks are simply not going to be worth the benefits.
U.S. President Donald Trump withdrew from the 2015 multilateral nuclear deal with Iran, the Joint Comprehensive Program of Action, in May 2018 and threatened U.S. sanctions against any international companies that continue to do business with Iran. Trump administration officials said the waivers originally granted to 8 countries were motivated by a desire to avoid a spike in oil prices in a tight market last year. They said the waivers were being allowed to end because there was now greater supply. However, oil prices jumped to a 6-month high on Monday.
I want to emphasize that we have used the highest possible care in our decision to ensure market stability. The United States has been in constant discussion with allies and partners to help them transition away from Iranian crude to other alternatives. And we've been working with major oil-producing countries to ensure the market has sufficient volume to minimize the impact on pricing.
Pompeo said the aim of the sanctions was to convince Iran to act like a normal country. Last year, he laid down 12 conditions Tehran would have to fulfill for the sanctions to be lifted, including an end to all uranium enrichment, cutting support to Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and the Houthi rebels in Yemen, and withdrawing from Syria. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will visit Russia for a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, North Korean state media confirmed on Tuesday. North Korea's official news agency KCNA said the visit will happen soon but did not elaborate the time nor the venue. Meanwhile, more than 1,000 people have been arrested at Extinction Rebellion climate protests in London in what organizers described as the biggest civil disobedience event in recent British history. Meanwhile, an earthquake has caused tall buildings to sway in the Mexican capital, prompting some office workers to evacuate. Here's Mirasol Abogadil to tell us why.
Some buildings in Mexico City shook on Monday, sending people out onto the street after a 5.7 magnitude earthquake was registered by the National Seismological Service. Witnesses felt a building moving slightly in Mexico City. The Seismological Service said the quake magnitude given was a preliminary reading. There is no immediate word of any damage or injuries related to the Monday afternoon quake. Mexico City is built on a former lake bed, meaning even faraway earthquakes are felt strongly there. In Australia, a 2-month-old baby died on Monday while on an Air Asia flight between Kuala Lumpur and Perth. One of the passengers on the flight, Nadja Parenzi, a former nurse, said the parents of the baby were from Saudi Arabia and were traveling to Australia to begin a new life. Parenzi said she detected the baby was struggling to breathe and helped organize treatment from doctors on board for the infant. The doctors attempted to resuscitate the baby for 2 hours, Parenzi said. Once the flight landed at Perth Airport, Australian police and paramedics assisted the plane's staff. In the United Kingdom, firefighters were on Sunday tackling blazes on a moor in Yorkshire, northern Britain. The fire was thought to have been caused by a barbecue on one of the hottest days of the year and was spreading, according to reports. The land is owned by the National Trust Heritage Charity, which said the fire was the 6th this year and covered about 3 square kilometers. And in London, the number of climate change protesters arrested in London topped 1,000 on Monday after 8 days of a campaign of non-violent civil disobedience. Dozens of campaigners who glued themselves to the road on Waterloo Bridge on Sunday were removed overnight. Climate group Extinction Rebellion has targeted sites in central London, including Waterloo Bridge, Oxford Circus, and Parliament Square. Police said 1,065 people had been arrested in connection with the protests, and they had charged 53 with offenses including obstructing the highway. Police had appealed to activists to move to Marble Arc, where they are allowing protests to continue. Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Back to the news in the country. A magnitude 6.2 earthquake hit eastern Samar today. Residents panicked while employees of a store in Catbalogan ran out of the building for their safety. Gladys Tawabi will tell us why.
Based on the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology or PHIVOLCS report, the epicenter of the 6.2 magnitude earthquake that hit eastern Samar was traced in the municipality of San Julian. It was of tectonic origin and had a depth of 63 kilometers. Varying quake intensities were felt in different areas in the Visayas, as well as in Bicol and Surigao del Sur areas. Intensity 5 was felt in Tacloban and in Catbalogan City, while Intensity 4 was experienced in Masbate, Legazpi, and Sorsogon City in Bicol. Based on CCTV footage of a store in Catbalogan, Eastern Samar, the earthquake started at 1:35 in the afternoon. Customers quickly ran out of the store, while employees hid in a safe place inside the building. The quake lasted for almost a minute. The employees went out safely afterwards. Cracks were noticed on a bridge in Casuroy, San Julian, Western Samar, while the walls of a store and a house in Catbalogan cracked and several items fell on the floor. In Tacloban City, residents ran out of the buildings to find a safer place. Since Intensity 5 was felt in Tacloban City, the walls of several establishments had cracks and windows were broken. Tacloban City residents panicked and ran due to fears of the occurrence of a tsunami in the area. As of this hour, the local government of San Julian Samar continues to assess the municipality for the possible damages. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, the 4th UNTV Rescue Summit happens on Sunday, April 28, 2019, where seminars and trainings on disaster preparedness, such as the big one, await participants. And following yesterday's earthquake, emergency responders give their tips on how to stay safe in case of an earthquake. Let's find these out from Aiko Miguel.
Are Filipinos ready for the 7.2 magnitude earthquake forecast to hit Metro Manila, or the big one? What are the things to remember when a powerful earthquake occurs? Here are some safety tips from emergency medical responders. Tip number 1. When you are in Metro Manila, make sure that your house is not sitting on the West Valley Fault. Stay inside a structurally sound building or house.
Hindi natin alam kung kailan yan mangyayari. Hindi natin alam kung habang natutulog tayo ay doon magaganap ang the big one. So ang unang-unang magiging protection natin supposedly ay yung ating mga bahay na kaya niyang tumagal sa malakas na lindol.
Stay calm during an earthquake and always remember to do the duck cover hold position under a sturdy table or desk. Stay away from falling debris. It is better to stay near walls and posts which are sturdy. Protect one's head and shoulders, especially the kids, with hard objects to avoid getting injured. When on the road, stop driving and go to an open space. Do not attempt to cross a bridge, an overpass, or a flyover which may have been damaged. After an earthquake, check whether you or your loved ones have any injuries.
At kung merong injury, meron tayong injury, i-treat natin yung ating mga sarili. Kaya ganun kahalaga ang matuto ng first aid. After na matreat natin yung ating mga sarili, alamin natin yung ating mga kasama sa bahay kung meron din silang injury. Kapag meron silang injury, i-treat natin. At after nun, lumabas agad tayo ng bahay kasi kung ang ating bahay ay nagkaroon ng mga cracks, nagkaroon ng mga damage, ay hindi na safe manatili sa loob ng bahay. Ang gagawin natin after that, kunin ang go bag, pumunta sa open space. At mas maganda kung makapunta tayo sa mga evacuation area.
Preparedness is important in times of disasters and calamities, as it is essential to know how to respond during such situations. As a part of preparedness for disasters such as the big one, the 4th UNTV Rescue Summit will be held on Sunday, April 28, 2019 at the Marikina Sports Center. UNTV News and Rescue has teamed up with the Marikina City Government, the Bureau of Fire Protection, and other rescue units and government agencies for the conduct of the event.
Magkakaroon din tayo ng mga libreng seminars na kung saan ang mga bawat participants ito ay matututo ng basic first aid, hands-on CPR, disaster awareness, and family disaster plan.
For further information on the 4th UNTV Rescue Summit, the public may call the UNTV News and Rescue Hotline 911 UNTV. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Marikina City.
International televangelist Brother Eli Soriano calls for unity and prayer following Monday's quake in some parts of Luzon. Jun Soria will tell us why.
The Youth Ministry of the Members Church of God International, or MCGI, conducted their two-day International Youth Convention with various sports and recreational activities from April 21 to 22 in Napalit, Pampanga. And as the province was among the areas hit by Monday afternoon's 6.1 magnitude earthquake, the UNTV News and Rescue team deployed in Napalit conducted emergency evacuation for the youth to ensure their safety. And after the moments of tremor, the MCGI Youth Ministry held an amazing deed. Instead of taking selfies after surviving the earthquake, the youth chose to sing songs of praises to God for being saved from the seconds-long strong tremor. According to international televangelist and MCGI overall servant Brother Eli Soriano, the earthquake has a biblical meaning. Brother Eli also calls for unity in prayer in the midst of trouble.
Tandaan nyo, ang lindol ay galit ng Diyos. Nagmamanifest ang galit ng Diyos sa kung saan naglilindol. Meron sigurong ginagawang mga masasama ang mga tao. Dalangin natin sa Diyos, wala naman sanang mapahamak na mga tao. Kahit hindi kapatid, kahit ano pa sila, wag naman sanang magkaroon ng malaking damage. Pero hindi maiiwasan, nakahula sa Biblia yan, lilindol sa iba't ibang mga dako. Kasama yan sa sinabi ng Panginoong Jesus.
Jun Suriao, UNTV News and Rescue.
A Hong Kong artist has created an artificial intelligence robot which creates its own unique paintings, asking the question, can a robot have an imagination? Here's why from Ferdy Petalio.
Victor Wong took 3 years to build and program the robot called AI Gemini and teach it artistic techniques. Randomness has been written into its algorithm, meaning Wong does not know what it will paint before it begins. Wong's latest project is called Far Side of the Moon. 3D NASA images of the moon were fed into the robot's AI, as well as images of the dark side of the moon captured by China's Chang'e 4 lunar rover in January.
So, at our current time, artificial intelligence is something state-of-the-art at this moment. Why not use it to create art? I think that's the significance is that we are using today's latest technologies to create something that can evolve into something that we will continue to explore.
AI Gemini takes an average of 50 hours to create a blend of 3D landscapes on traditional fresh Yuan paper made from bark and rice straw. Speaking at the 3812 London Gallery, where his latest exhibition is running until May 11th, Wong explained why he used lunar imagery as a base for the work. Wong designed the robot to use the ancient Chinese art of Shuimo to create its paintings, using mainly black ink and water, blending ancient techniques with artificial intelligence technology. Other artists are using artificial intelligence for inkjet printed artwork. But Wong believes AI Gemini is the first to create Shumo pieces. Wong, who is also the director of Asian visual effects company VX Nova, answered the question, can work created by a robot be considered art?
It may be a future question for future people, but I would say at this moment I feel good about what AI Geminis and I created together and show it to the world, and people say, wow, this is a nice painting. If this is a nice painting, can it categorize as art? I think so at this moment.
Ferdy Petalio, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Australian divers who helped rescue the wild boar soccer team in Thailand have been reunited with the boys and coach 9 months on. Kaf Numeraos will tell us why.
Two Australian cave divers who were instrumental to the rescue of 12 Thai boys and their soccer coach from a flooded cave last year returned to the Tham Luang cave in northernmost Chiang Rai province on Monday. Richard Harris and Craig Challen were among members of the main rescue team, made up of 13 foreign divers and 5 Thai Navy divers, that brought the boys and their coach out to safety.
I was desperately keen to know how the boys felt about meeting us for the first time, and whether they had any confidence in what we were proposing to do. And not surprisingly to me, they said, yep, they were all very confident in what was going to happen with them, and that was definitely the impression we had at the time, that these kids were just incredibly brave and resilient.
Dr. Harry, as the Adelaide anaesthetist is known, played the crucial role of sedating the boys with ketamine so a team of British divers could carry them out unconscious through the cave. His longtime dive partner and friend Dr. Craig Challen assisted with medical checks deep inside the cave. Even now it's dry, the cave remains off limits to the public, with some parts silted up, creating narrow crawl spaces. But the Thai authorities have allowed special access for the experienced Australian cave divers and their families.
Since we left, we had to rush off in a bit of a hurry after the rescue last year, and we've been looking forward all this time to getting back and having a look at what the cave actually looks like.
The wild boar soccer team, aged between 11 and 16, and their 25-year-old coach became trapped on June 23rd while exploring the cave complex in the northern province of Chiang Rai when a rainy season downpour flooded the tunnels. A 17-day effort to rescue them gripped the world, with experts from various countries volunteering to help. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Award-winning Filipino singer Maricet Amon earns another achievement that's one for the books. Nina Armilla will tell us why.
Asia's Phoenix, Maricet Amon's Wish-clusive music video of her secret love song cover on the iconic Wish bus gained its 100 millionth view last Saturday, April 20. Maricet's Wish-clusive is among the 6 music videos of Filipino artists that have reached 100 million views on YouTube. Other Wish-clusive performances with at least 100 million views are Porac Speed's original Mundo, Michael Pangilinan Bakit Ba Ikaw with over 107 million views.
Bakit ba ikaw ang naiisip ko at di na mawala pa?
More Maricet Wish-clusives, which have gained millions of views, are her Akin Ka Na Lang cover with 78 million views and counting, Against All Odds, which has 57 million views so far, and Never Enough with 12 million views.
Never enough.
Other wish bus performances with millions of views include Bigoy Durlan's One Day with over 96 million views, December Avenue's Sa Ngalan ng Pag-ibig with at least 33 million views, and AZ Tandingan's Two Less Lonely People in the World cover with 60 million views and counting. To date, Wish-clusive performances uploaded on the Philippines' #1 FM YouTube channel, Wish 1075, have over 1.977 billion cumulative views. Wish 1075's YouTube channel, meanwhile, has 5.3 million subscribers and counting.
What can we be like? Wish we could be like.
Nina Emilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this April 23, 2019. On behalf of Lina Villamor Camara and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
I-suspend muna yung business permit itong mga Luzon supermarket hanggang sa ma-verify natin na ito ay compliant sa building code.
Gusto namin, madam, maano yan, yung tabunan ulit para mapalitan yung yung nagbibiyak, matibag. Baka biglang gumuho yan eh.
Dalawang fault system na tinitignan po namin is yung IBA fault at yung Zambales fault.
Sa totoo lang, nung unang beses ko naramdaman na may paggalaw, akala ko nahihilo ko. Until makita ko yung mga tao behind the camera, hinahawakan na yung mga ilaw, yung camera, dahil grabe talaga yung paggalaw.
Hindi natin alam kung kailan yan mangyayari. Hindi natin alam kung habang natutulog tayo ay doon magaganap ang the big one. So ang unang-unang magiging protection natin supposedly yung ating mga bahay.
Tandaan nyo, ang lindol ay galit ng Diyos. Nagmamanifest ang galit ng Diyos sa kung saan naglilindol. Meron sigurong ginagawang mga masasama ang mga tao. Dalangin natin sa Diyos, wala naman sanang mapahamak na mga tao.